Hello everyone, my name is Seraphi and I'm happy to meet you all. And today we are going to be playing Altergeist. Altergeist is a deck that I've already showcased on the channel a few times, but now that we have the new skill, we can actually start making some really good plays. I played this deck at Legend 4 and I did very well. And I think this deck will be good for all the people who want to play Altergeist. So let's go over the new cards, the new skill, and see what we can do with it. The skill is called Altergeist Overwrite. You can only use the skill's second effect once per duel if your deck, excluding the extra deck, contains 9 or more Altergeist cards. At the beginning of the duel, gain 1,000 life points. So it's basically a better version of Life Point Boost Alpha, which is a skill that Altergeist was using beforehand. From turn 2 onward, shuffle one monster from your field into the deck, then play one Altergeist Fidgy Alert from outside your deck to your field in face-down defense position. Its battle position can be changed. Okay, this part of the skill is fine. It's not good. It's really not good. I've not been able to make proper use of this skill even once, because the only way that this is beneficial to you, really, is if you manage to summon your level 1, link it off, draw Kukuri, then you can bounce the link 1 that you make, which is not an Altergeist card, to play Fidgy Alert, so that you now have 2 Altergeist cards on the field, so that you can make the Altergeist on your field with the Altergeist in your hand, the Pukri, to go into Hextia, and then you get to return the Pukri to your hand, so that if your Hextia survives next turn, you can make your Prima Banshee. That's it. That's all it does. It's not helpful at all. I mean, as long as if you draw your Meluseek, you can use the skill, but only on turn 2. So if you're turn 1, you're still just going to make Link Karibo and pass. It's not that useful to you. And the problem is, almost all the time that you draw Meluseek, you would rather get your Multi-Faker or your Kunkri in your hand than your Pukri. Yes, Pukri will let you get Hextia, but Hextia with no monster beneath it is not that powerful. It's not that useful. The skill is better than Life Point Boost Alpha, which is why I'm playing it, but don't expect a whole lot of mileage out of the second effect. Again, a skill that can only activate going second is not very good at all. For the main deck, we have Altergeist Kunkri. When your opponent's monster declares an attack, if you control an Altergeist card, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, negate the attack. If this card is special summoned, you can target one face-up card your opponent controls, negate the effects of that card while it and Kunkri are face-up on the field. So Kunkri is a really powerful card, and its effect is not once per turn, which means that if your opponent attacks into you, you can special summon Kunkri, negate the attack, negate a monster's effects. Then if another monster attacks, you can use your Silquidus to bounce the Kunkri. It comes back to your hand, you bounce the other monster, and then if your opponent declares a third attack, you can special summon Kunkri again, negate that attack, and also negate a monster effect. So, Kunkri, really useful, versatile card. We only have 1 copy of it, but we have 2 copies of Personal Spoofing to let us draw it during the opponent's turn, and then during our turn we can use Personal Spoofing to shove it back into our deck and get something different. So it's a very versatile, useful card, and you should play it. Altergeist Multi-Faker. This is the heart and soul of the deck. Level 3 Dark Spellcaster. If you activate a trap card, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is special summoned, you can special summon one Altergeist monster from your deck in defense position except Multi-Faker. You cannot special summon monsters the turn you activate this effect except Altergeist monsters. So if you are on your turn and you link into a Link 1, then if you summon Multi-Faker, you don't get to special summon any monsters, which is unfortunate. But otherwise, it's a pretty good card. Meluseek. This card can attack directly. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can target one card your opponent controls and send it to the graveyard. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add one Altergeist monster from your deck to your hand, except Meluseek. So this effect does not miss timing, because it's an if effect, which is very important, because it will almost always trigger by linking it off. And then you get to draw your Multi-Faker almost always. If you already have Multi-Faker, you'll probably draw Kunkri. And if you're trying to use the skill, you will draw Pukri. Meluseek's a great card. I'm glad that it's not limited anymore because it allows us to be more flexible with our traps. And Meluseek lets you get easy access to cards like Link Karibo and your Prime Banshee. Altergeist Marionetter. When this card is normal summon, you can set one Altergeist trap directly from your deck to your spell and trap zone. You can target one Altergeist card you control and one Altergeist monster in your graveyard. Send that card on the field to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon the other monster from your graveyard. You can only use this effect once per turn. Okay, so you can target your Manifestation with this to special summon a monster from the graveyard, and then you just destroy the monster the manifestation is targeting, which is kind of cool, especially if you're sending Silquidus particularly, because Silquidus will just return the manifestation to your hand afterwards, which is a really cool little combo cycle effect. Marionetter is a good card, but it needs to be normal summoned, and you have better uses of your normal summon typically. So I only have this card at 1, but I probably wouldn't play it at more than 1, even if I did have more than 1 copy. It's just, it's a useful card, but it's not that useful. Silquidus. Silquidus is a very strong 2-of. I don't think that playing it at 3 would help you too much, because you can special summon it off of Multi-Faker so easily. Level 2, 800 attack, 1500 defense. As a quick effect, you can return one other Altergeist card you control to the hand, then target one card your opponent controls and return it to the hand. Now, the important thing about Silquidus is the effect to return a card you control to the hand happens immediately. You don't target, your opponent does not get to respond to that aspect. So you can use Silquidus to save your cards from being destroyed, and your opponent cannot respond to it with more removal, which is rare. It's actually pretty rare to be able to save your own cards from being destroyed with your opponent not being able to interact with it in any way. So Silquidus' ability to bounce cards without giving priority is very powerful. The bounce itself is extremely good. Being able to bounce one card on your opponent's side of the field, spell, trap one monster every single turn is really, really strong. And then its second effect is if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target one Altergeist trap card in your graveyard and add it to your hand, which will be our manifestation. That's also perfectly fine. New addition to the deck, Altergeist Pookery. Link level 1, 300 attack, 100 defense. If an Altergeist monster you control will be used as link material for an Altergeist link monster, this card in your hand can also be used as material. You can only use this effect once per turn. That's really good. So you can just link your Pookery with 2 other monsters in your field to make your Prime Banshee. You can link it with 3 monsters to make your Memory Gant. You can link it with 2 monsters to make with 1 monster to make Hextia. It's just a really solid card. If an Altergeist Link monster is link summoned to your field while this card is in your graveyard, you can add this card to your hand, but you can only use this effect once per duel. Solid. So Pookery is a card that's easily searchable. The effect is good, but not that good. So yes, this is a safe 1-of, which makes the box that it comes in a very cheap box, because there's not really any cards in there that you want 3 of except for the Perform Mages. Personal Spoofing. This is a free trap that you can get from the card trader, so that makes it easy to get prismatic, which is nice. Once per turn, you can shuffle 1 Altergeist card from your hand or deck, face up field into the deck, and add 1 Altergeist monster from your deck to your hand. So this is a really good card, and it is a soft once per turn, which means that if you have 2 copies out, then you can use both copies, which is really, really good. You can cycle your Kunkery in and out of your hand, which makes playing 1 copy of it really easy. You can just shuffle a card from your hand into your deck to draw Kunkery during your opponent's turn, and then if you don't use the Kunkery, then during your turn you can shuffle Kunkery back to draw a card like Memory Gant. Melusi. That's good. Solid. It's important to note that the first time you activate Spoofing, you can special summon your Multi-Faker off of it, because you're activating a trap. But if you use Personal Spoofing after you've activated it, like during your opponent's turn after you've activated the card, it does not trigger Multi-Faker. Multi-Faker only triggers off of the activation of a trap card, not the activation of a trap card's effect. So, pretty good. Then we're playing Warning Point, Chain Disappearance, Drowning Mirror Force, and Floodgate Trap Hole as our removal. Chain Disappearance, very solid card for countering specific decks, particularly Phantom Knights. Warning Point is a great card to stop all sorts of decks. It allows you to stop your opponent's monster effects from being activated when normal summoned, like for example Dragon Spirit of White, and it also prevents the monster from being used as fusion, exceeds, synchro, or link material, which is basically every card that's being seen and played this series. Drowning Mirror Force lets you just out unoutable situations, and Floodgate Trap Hole is an answer to basically any monster. Lastly, we're playing Altergeist Manifestation. Target 1 Altergeist monster in graveyard, special summon in attack position if you do equip it with this card. When this card leaves the field, destroy that monster. You can banish this card from your graveyard, target 1 Altergeist trap in your graveyard, and add it to your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. Okay, so Manifestation is really strong. You want to use it to revive your Silquidus, and then your Silquidus can bounce the Manifestation to bounce a card in your opponent's field, which will destroy the Silquidus so that it can't be interacted with, and then you can just keep doing this over and over and over again. And because the Silquidus is destroying itself as part of the activation of its own effect, that means that it can't be effect failed. It means that it can't be, for example, Fiendish Chained or number 106 Giant Handed. Anything that would negate the card's effects while it's on the field doesn't work because it's not on the field when the effect is put on the stack. So that's a really, really strong interaction. It's really easy to make. And then Manifestation has other implications. You can use it on cards like, for example, your Meluseek, And then if you do the Silquidus Luke on the Meloseek, you're also drawing your card every single turn, which is pretty nice. For the extra deck, we have our new ace monster, Altergeist Memory Gant. This card is really, really good. So I'm glad that this card is just an easy one of in the box. Definitely try and get this card because it's fun to use. It requires 2 or more Altergeist monsters. It's the link 4. During the battle phase, as a quick effect, you contribute 1 other monster. This card gains attack equal to that tributed monster's attack on the field. When this card destroys a monster by battle, you can destroy 1 monster your opponent controls, and if you do, this card can make a second attack in a row. It's important to note that even though it mentions making a second attack, this can happen during either player's turn. So if, for example, your opponent attacks into your Memory Gant and you respond in the damage step by tributing 1 of your monsters to make your Memory Gant stronger than your opponent's monster, and then your Memory Gant destroys that monster in battle after it was attacked, you still get to pop 1 of your opponent's other monsters. So Memory Gant, really, really hard card to out for decks like Blue Eyes, which rely on the battle phase quite heavily. If this card would be destroyed, you can banish 1 monster from your graveyard instead. You can only use each effective Memory Gant once per turn. Solid. So it has protection. It's really easy to OTK with. You can get it up to 4,000 attack, crush 1 monster, pop another monster, attack directly. So it's hard to make, but it's really good when it's on the field. Prime Banshee. We're playing Prime Banshee so that we can easily access our Memory Gants because we need a link 3 to go into our link 4, basically. Alright, requires 2 or more Altergeist monsters, 2,100 attack points, which is not good. During the main phase, as a quick effect, you contribute 1 other Altergeist monster, special summon 1 Altergeist monster from your deck to your zone this card points to. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target 1 Altergeist card in your graveyard and add it to your hand. Okay, so Prime Banshee, you will usually tribute, for example, your Meluseek to special summon a monster from your deck, and then when you do that, your Meluseek can draw your Pukari, and your Pukari can link with the Prime Banshee to get you Memory Gant. Now Memory Gant is on the field, and it has the Altergeist that you special summon from the deck with Prime Banshee to tribute for attack points. It's not easy to do, but if you're controlling the board, you will have the materials. A Nightmare Unicorn and Nightmare Phoenix, just solid options in every deck. Altergeist Hextia requires 2 Altergeist monsters linked to with 1,500 attack points. It gains attack points equal to the original attack of each Altergeist monster it points to. It points down and to the right. So you either want to have it in the left monster zone, left link monster zone, or the left main monster zone. When a spell or trap card or effect is activated as a quick effect, you contribute 1 Altergeist card that this card points to, negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. And if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add 1 Altergeist card from your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect once per turn. Or sorry, you can only use the second effect once per turn. You can use the first effect as many times as you contribute monsters, which is really, really good. So you contribute a monster, then you can special summon another monster to the zone Hextia points to, and then tribute that monster to negate another effect. If you use it with your Dragvirion, then you can use your Dragvirion as multiple tributes. We're not playing Dragvirion in this deck, but you could. So Hextia is a solid option. If you summon your Marionetter to the zone Hextia points to, Hextia will have 3,100 attack points, which is usually enough to get lethal. So yeah, good. And then we're playing Link Karibo and Artemis the Magistus Moon Maiden so that we have Link 1s to go into for the skill. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at the replay. Alright, we are going first against Blue Eyes. We gain our 1,000 life points and we draw. Our hand is pretty mediocre. We have the Silquidus, and then we have Personal Spoofing, Manifestation, Manifestation. No cards in our graveyard to manifest. We could link off here, but I'm not going to. So I just go ahead and set 3 and pass. It's our opponent's turn. They normal summon Blue Eyes. They're going to Battle Chronicle to draw the Ultimate Fusion. Pitch the Ultimate Dragon. Then they're going to activate the Ultimate Fusion. They fuse the Ultimate Dragon from their graveyard with the Blackluster Soldier in their hand to make the Dragon Master Knight, which is not good for them. So now we're going to activate Personal Spoofing in response to the attack. We shuffle the Silquidus into the deck and draw our Multi-Faker. Multi-Faker triggers off of the Personal Spoofing being activated, special summons itself. Then we special summon a Silquidus from the deck off of Multi-Faker's effect. Now we use Silquidus' effect and we return Multi-Faker to our opponent's hand, or to our hand to bounce our opponent's Blue Eyes Dragon Master Knight. Blue Eyes will destroy the Silquidus in battle and will activate Altergeist Manifestation during our opponent's end phase to revive Silquidus. It's our turn, we draw. Our opponent is going to crack down the Silquidus, which is a terrible idea. So we will go ahead and we will chain to that. We bounce our Manifestation to target the Blue Eyes, and that allows us to put the Silquidus in the graveyard. Now we're going to activate our second manifestation to revive Silquidus. And we will chain Personal Spoofing to shuffle the manifestation into the deck. If you chain Personal Spoofing to the activation of manifestation before it is equipped, then you still get the monster and it's not equipped. Now we can special summon Multifaker from our hand since we activated a trap card. Special summon the Pukari from the deck and link summon. Link 3 Prime Banshee. Pukari returns to our hand. Now we will link with Pukari and the Prime Banshee to go into the Altergeist Memory Ant. Prime Banshee, when it goes to the graveyard, returns Multifaker to our hand. Normal summon Multifaker, attack, and that's lethal. There you go, chat. So, easy way for us to get multiple interactions on the board. We made a Link 4 with no monsters on the field because we just had so much interaction, so many ways to special summon from the deck, special summon from the graveyard, special summon from the hand. My name is Seraphi, and I was thrilled to have all of you with me.